Tonight, dangerous conditions on the last big weekend of summer with messy travel for millions ahead. Lifeguards rushing into action, rescuing hundreds from life-threatening rip currents. Other beaches closed from contamination. In Colorado, heavy downpours and the storm clouds looming over Texas. Look at that, under a flood watch. We're tracking it all. Breaking tonight, some Guatemalan children the president's trying to deport seen deplaning after dramatic holiday weekend legal maneuvers. The latest from a federal judge, plus a new warning for Chicago ahead of what sources say will be an immigration crackdown there this week. Happening right now, police investigating after they say a man was found dead in a pool of blood at Burning Man. Just in tonight, what we know about the car crash that seriously hurt former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Overseas, Israel launching deadly strikes in the push to seize Gaza City, and new reporting on what the White House could do once the war is over. The Chinese president with a rare show of force alongside other world leaders, including Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un this week. We'll take you there. Look at that, a child walking on top of the monorail tracks at Hershey Park. We'll show you what happened after somebody jumped up to try to help. There's good news tonight about a small act of kindness that paid off in a huge way.
This is NBC Nightly News with Hallie Jackson.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the dangerous conditions on this busy holiday Sunday at beaches along the West Coast and beyond. Rescue after rescue, dozens of them. You see lifeguards racing into the water in L.A. to help people pulled away by life-threatening rip currents. It's a dramatic end to the summer season. And as people look to head home after Labor Day, it could be a treacherous ride because of extreme weather. You see those storm clouds rolling in over that football game. Flash flood warnings tonight in Texas with intense rain for some drivers there already, and a highway crash involving two big rigs in another part of the state. That's what you're looking at here. The forecast, more storms, meaning maybe delays for big cities like Houston, Kansas City, and Miami. Our Dana Griffin reports.
The last weekend of summer is here. In Southern California, lifeguards jumping into action to save hundreds of swimmers caught in dangerous rip currents from San Pedro to Malibu. Some 200-plus rescues this weekend already?
Yes, we generally see those elevated rescue numbers when obviously on a busy holiday weekend.
Just making sure we keep an eye on those currents and stay vigilant.
As water contamination stretching along both coasts forces closures this week at popular beaches and advisories for nearly a dozen in California. It comes as travelers are bracing for another potentially bumpy day. Floodwaters filling Houston streets and heavy downpours in northern Colorado. In North Carolina and Texas, car crashes shutting down roads and highways this weekend. Look, this time-lapse video shows an ominous storm cloud sweeping over Texas Tech's packed stadium. All happening as people start planning their way home.
Monday is going to be really probably one of the busiest days of the weekend. If you're driving, go early in the day if you can. If you're flying, get to the airport early and make sure you have the airline app installed on your phone and you're checking the weather.
Tonight, 6 million are under severe risk of flash flooding in Texas and New Mexico, while heat alerts impact 25 million out west as temperatures rise. And Americans soak up the last weekend of summer.
Dana is joining us now from Santa Monica. And Dana, that scorching heat could last well beyond Labor Day for some, right?
Absolutely, Holly. So those high temperatures are going to range from 90 to 110 degrees. Here out west, that'll extend past Labor Day into Tuesday. But in the Northeast, it is already starting to feel like fall. Holly?
Dana Griffin in California, thank you. Dramatic moments in Texas and a major legal setback for President Trump, with a judge blocking the White House push to deport some children for now after what lawyers say was a middle-of-the-night wake-up call. Here's Vaughn Hilliard.
Tonight, Guatemalan children seen deplaning an aircraft on a Texas tarmac Sunday after a federal judge issued an order blocking their removals from the U.S. moments before being deported by the Trump administration. Their fates and those of hundreds of other Guatemalan children in U.S. custody now in legal question. Lawyers for some of the children saying the young unaccompanied Guatemalans were awakened overnight, put onto planes soon after. One of them even taking off before being ordered to turn around. Planes and multiple charter buses on hold for hours on an airport tarmac outside of McAllen, Texas, as a federal judge in Washington, D.C. ordered the return of the children to the U.S. government facilities. In her order, U.S. District Judge Sparkle Suknanen halting their removals for at least 14 days pending further proceedings. Lawyers for the children arguing in court filings that because of their age, they are entitled to special due process protections, adding many fear return and wish to continue pursuing their asylum claims, and that they face risks of persecution and torture in Guatemala.
This administration repeatedly engages in an effort to disregard people's constitutional rights and undermine the rule of law.
Deputy Assistant Attorney General Drew Ensign said at an afternoon hearing in Washington that the government would reunite the children with family members in Guatemala and said, "We obviously think these removals are lawful." This case mirroring similar situations earlier this year when the Trump administration deported hundreds of migrants to El Salvador despite orders from a court not to do so. And another last-minute court order turning around a bus of Venezuelan nationals en route to an El Paso airport as the government sought to remove them to El Salvador.
Vaughn is joining us now from outside the White House. And Vaughn, the president may be setting up another legal battle, this one over voting laws. What's the latest?
Right, Hallie. The president declaring he will sign an executive order requiring voter ID to vote. He also said he will ban mail-in voting. Both would face legal challenges. Unless Congress passes a law, states administer elections, not presidents. Hallie?
Vaughn Hilliard live for us in Washington. Thank you. That battle comes as multiple sources tell NBC News of an immigration crackdown potentially coming to Chicago, with new pressure from the president on that city and the state's governor now pushing back. Maggie Vespa reports.
Tonight, President Trump ramping up pressure to send troops to Chicago in what he says is an ongoing federal crackdown on crime, this ahead of anticipated ICE raids. Two federal law enforcement officials tell NBC News that ICE, Border Patrol, and other federal agencies plan to increase manpower and scale up operations to arrest immigrants in Chicago as early as this week.
Well, we've already had ongoing operations with ICE in Chicago and throughout Illinois. We do intend to add more resources to those operations.
It comes after the president has deployed troops to the nation's capital. On crime, President Trump writing on social media, warning Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker he better straighten it out fast or we're coming. Just this weekend in Chicago, 5 people have been killed and 31 others shot, police reports show. But just like in D.C., violent crime in Chicago is down overall. Homicides and overall shooting incidents both down more than 30% in the last year, according to the city. Governor Pritzker calling it an invasion, saying the president has other intentions.
The other aims are that he'd like to stop the elections in 2026 or, frankly, take control of those elections.
A White House spokesperson accusing the governor of deflecting, quote, from the terrible crime crisis that has been plaguing Chicago for years. Mayor Brandon Johnson signing an executive order stating Chicago police will not collaborate with the military on police patrols or immigration enforcement. Tonight, another American city on edge with the possibility of troops arriving soon. Maggie Vespa, NBC News.
In Minneapolis now, the Annunciation Catholic Church holding its first Sunday Mass since last week's deadly mass shooting that killed 2 children and hurt 21 other people in that church's school. And at the Vatican, Pope Leo praying for the victims and calling for an end to what he described as a pandemic of arms. Also tonight, police are investigating after they say a man was found dead in a pool of blood at the Burning Man Festival in Nevada. Ryan Chandler is joining us with more on that. So, Ryan, what else do we know?
Well, Hallie, authorities are investigating this as a suspected homicide. The local sheriff's office tells us a deputy was alerted to that victim just as that namesake man began to burn. And we now know that victim is a white adult male. Now, authorities say the festival will have a heavy law enforcement presence before it's set to end tomorrow, warning although this act appears to be a singular crime, all participants should always be vigilant of their surroundings and acquaintances. Now, the Burning Man organization also says they are cooperating with law enforcement as the sheriff's office asks anyone who may know more about this suspected crime to contact the Pershing County Sheriff's Office. Hallie.
Ryan Chandler, thank you. We're also learning tonight that former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani has been seriously hurt with a spinal fracture, among other injuries, after a car crash in New Hampshire, according to a spokesperson. They say Giuliani's car was rear-ended at a high speed by another car on the highway last night, and that he was taken to a nearby trauma center. The former mayor is said to be fully alert and conscious. To the war in Gaza now, and Israel's military launching a new round of deadly strikes on Gaza City. Our Richard Engel reports from Jerusalem.
Israeli forces tonight are bombing Gaza City, where up to 1 million Palestinians are living and, according to the UN, are starving as well. We've blurred the body of a boy crushed under the rubble. And conditions here could soon get far worse. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government is calling up 60,000 reservists for a ground assault on the city. Tonight, Netanyahu said the attack plan remains a go, but he is facing increasing opposition at home. Weekly protests have grown from a few thousand participants to several 100,000 2 weeks ago. Gil Dickman's cousin Carmel was executed by Hamas a year ago. He accuses Netanyahu of refusing a ceasefire deal that he believes could have saved her.
And people are starting to realize the moral price of this war going on forever and ever and ever.
The moral price for Israelis.
The moral price for Israelis, Jews. The moral price for Jews.
Dickman and other demonstrators accuse Netanyahu of wanting the war to continue so the prime minister can escape corruption charges.
Why do you think he would want, as you say, an endless forever war?
I think it's his own political purposes. That's the only thing on his mind. He's facing a trial here in Israel, and he wants to keep himself safe.
As for Gaza's future, President Trump has proposed turning Gaza, which is on the Mediterranean, into a new Riviera and posted this AI rendition. The plan is apparently still active, according to the Washington Post.
The Washington Post reports the Trump administration has discussed a 38-page plan to move all 2 million Palestinians from the Gaza Strip and compensate them with $5,000 and digital tokens for their land. A senior Arab official told NBC News the idea is, quote, insane. The administration did not respond to our request for comment. Hallie?
Richard Engel in Jerusalem, thank you. To China now, where that country's president is hosting a high-stakes summit that amounts to a rare show of force with world leaders, including Vladimir Putin. Janice Macu-Freyer is there for us now. Janice, a potentially significant moment here for Beijing on the world stage.
Well, and this is not an obscure get-together, Hallie. The leaders of Russia, India, Iran, Pakistan, Turkey, a dozen other countries are here. And consider the timing. Just after President Trump met with Vladimir Putin about Ukraine and slapped 50% tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. Xi Jinping met today with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and still to come, a massive military parade in Beijing. Putin is invited. So is North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who President Trump says he wants to meet this year. It will be a chance to show off China's growing military might, but it will also be rich in optics. The first time these three leaders will be seen together, and that will be getting a lot of attention, including at the White House. Hallie?
Janice Macu-Freyer in China, thank you. Still ahead for us tonight, a dramatic rescue caught on camera at a big amusement park. We'll show you. Plus, the new confusion over how to get a COVID vaccine as cases tick up. Back now with dramatic video of a boy being rescued. Look at that after walking on closed monorail tracks at Hershey Park. So you can see down below this crowd gathering to see what is going on. You see the child above walking along that narrow rail, at one point stopping to look down. People are telling him move over closer to where that building is. Hershey Park said the boy was at a shutdown station after he got separated from his parents and that the monorail was not operating. And then we're going to show you here, he walks over towards that building. Somebody jumps up onto the tracks, grabs him, and is able to get that boy down safely. Thank goodness. Also tonight, some new concerns and confusion about who can get a COVID shot and where as kids head back to school and cases begin to tick up. Marissa Parra reports.
As new COVID cases are rising across the country, hospitals are starting to feel the impact. But new guidance over who can get the COVID vaccine is causing confusion.
It should not be this hard. I should not have to go to this much time and effort simply to get a vaccine to keep me from getting ill.
Last week, the FDA narrowed approvals for the COVID vaccine to adults 65 and over, or younger people who have an underlying health condition. A big change under the leadership of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary under the Trump administration.
The FDA's decision does not affect the availability of COVID vaccines for Americans who want them.
CVS says its locations will require a COVID vaccine prescription in 13 states plus D.C. They won't administer any COVID vaccines for now in 3 states, but will offer them in the rest of the country for those who qualify. Meanwhile, Walgreens, not offering specific details, says it's, quote, prepared to offer the vaccine in states where we are able to do so. The COVID vaccine shakeup amid turmoil at the CDC. The agency's director abruptly fired last Thursday by Kennedy, a vocal vaccine skeptic, with 4 senior officials resigning in protest, citing ideological interference.
And that's the end of what I can do as a physician who said that first I would do no harm.
The American Academy of Pediatrics calling the new vaccine limitations, quote, deeply troubling, insisting broader vaccination is needed for kids even without a secondary condition.
53% of those children hospitalized last season had no underlying conditions.
The mixed messaging untimely as the school year and the battle over these vaccines is just beginning. Marissa Parra, NBC News.
When we come back, there is good news tonight about picking up the phone and the birthday surprise one family will never forget. There is good news tonight about the kindness of strangers and an unexpected birthday wish come true.
Happy birthday to you.
For these grandparents, a special performance each and every time.
May the dear Lord bless you.
Yes. And there are plenty of times. That's Frank and Marilyn Magny in Chardon, Ohio, keeping up their decades-long tradition, calling more than 100 of their loved ones every year to sing happy birthday. Their granddaughter, Dateline Peterson, posting that video, racking up more than 3 million views.
To wake up the next morning to see all of the attention that it was getting, absolutely blew my mind.
Happy birthday! That response giving Dateline an idea to return the love for her grandma's 90th birthday. She put out the all call.
This is the information to send the birthday card for my grandparents.
And then?
This is crazy. 45, 46, 47.
It didn't stop there.
41, 42, 43, 44. 44. And 3 packages on day 2.
One after the other, card after card, eventually hundreds of them.
45, 46, 47, 58, 59.
So many, Dateline had to color code them.
It's not like somebody just signed their name. They're literally in there writing paragraphs on paragraphs about who they are and how much this touched them.
Iceland.
People from everywhere getting creative to make her grandmother's birthday extra special.
Somebody sewed this on.
And when she made her big reveal, Grandma and Grandpa couldn't believe it.
This came from all over the world.
More than 500 cards from 15 countries and all 50 states.
The love you share and put out into the world is so special.
And now, Grandma Marilyn is keeping all of them and making a new call list for her TikTok family.
It literally lit up my grandparents' face, so it was really, really cool to be able to witness them be excited about making somebody else's day.
A reminder that picking up the phone can hit all the right notes.
To think that none of these people know my grandparents and they wanted to bless them so much, and it absolutely was such an eye-opening thing to see the world has such good people.
Happy birthday, Isabel.
God bless you. And that is Nightly News for this Sunday. I'm Hallie Jackson. For all of us here at NBC, thanks for watching and have a great week.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.